In a significant escalation in the ongoing Ukraine war, Russia launched a ballistic missile using multiple independent re-entry vehicles, MIRVs, against a Ukrainian city on November 21st. This marks the first ever use of MIRV in combat and has sent shockwaves across the world. Recently, the Ukrainian Air Force claimed on November 21st that the Russian forces fired an intercontinental ballistic missile, ICBM, on Dnipro, a city in eastern Ukraine. Soon after, a spate of conflicting claims emerged, with some Western officials telling the media that it was an intermediate-range ballistic missile, IRBM, instead. Finally, putting all speculations to rest, Russian President Vladimir Putin revealed to the media that the missile used in the attack was an entirely new weapon, a medium-range, hypersonic missile, Oreshnik. The attack set in motion several claims and counterclaims by officials and experts who expressed their shock and alarm at the missile attack. However, one common denominator among all the claims was that the ballistic missile had multiple independent re-entry vehicles, MIRV. These claims were based on videos posted to social media showing the missile breaking into 6 warheads. More than the missile itself, the use of MIRV has rattled military watchers and nuclear experts. Hans Christensen, the director of the Nuclear Information Project at the Federation of American Scientists, said, "To my knowledge, yes, it's the first time MIRV has been used in combat." In the attack's aftermath, military analysts surmised that Moscow's deployment of this new missile with MIRV was akin to a warning. The Oreshnik missile will go into serial production to be supplied to Russia's strategic missile forces, President Vladimir Putin announced. "We need to launch serial production. Let's say that the decision has been made that the system will go into serial production," he noted at a meeting with the leadership of the Russian Defense Ministry, the defense industry and missile developers. "Basically, it has already happened," Putin added. The president stressed that given the weapon's special power, it will be provided precisely to the strategic missile forces. Speaking a day later to senior defense officials, he said tests of the missile would continue, including in combat conditions. Putin's description of the weapon notwithstanding, there seems to be no clear consensus about what it actually is. If Putin's description is correct, the missile is at the upper edge of the definition of hypersonic, and few things can achieve this. Speed is important because the faster a missile travels, the quicker it gets to target. The quicker it gets to target, the less time a defending military has to react. A ballistic missile generally gets to target by following an arcing path up into the atmosphere and a similar one down towards its destination. But as it descends, it picks up speed and gains kinetic energy, and more kinetic energy gives it more options. This allows it to maneuver down towards the target, by performing some kind of defending wriggle. That makes interception by surface-to-air missile systems, such as Ukraine's US-built Patriot defense missile system, particularly difficult. This is not new for militaries that have to defend against such threats, of course, but the greater the speed, the harder it becomes. That is why Putin has likely placed emphasis on its speed in announcing this new type of missile. Russian military expert Ilya Kromnik told the pro-Kremlin newspaper Izvestia it is likely that the new missile, whose development has been classified until now, is at the upper end of medium-range missiles. It is likely that we are dealing with a new generation of Russian intermediate-range missiles, with a range of 2,500 to 3,000 kilometers, 1,550 to 1,860 miles, and potentially extending to 5,000 kilometers, 3,100 miles, but not intercontinental, he says. This could put almost the whole of Europe within range, but not the US. It is obviously equipped with a separating warhead with individual guidance units, Kramnik added. He suggested that it could be a reduced version of the Yars-M missile complex, which is an ICBM. Russia was reported to have started production of a new version of this missile complex last year, which included much more mobile independent warheads. Another expert, Dmitry Kornev, told the paper the Oreshnik could have been created on the basis of the shorter-range Iskander missiles, already commonly used on Ukraine, but with a new generation engine. An Iskander with an enlarged engine was used at the Kapustin Yar test site in southern Russia last spring, he said, adding that this may well have been the Oreshnik. Thursday's missile was fired into Ukraine from the same site. Military analyst Vladislav Shurigin told Izvestia that the Oreshnik was capable of overcoming any existing modern missile defense systems. It could also destroy well-protected bunkers at great depths without using a nuclear warhead, he said, although there is no evidence of underground facilities being destroyed at the Dnipro plant. Russia's short-range ballistic missiles have been one of the more potent threats to Ukraine in this conflict, he said. Faster, more advanced systems would increase that an order of magnitude.